Your move. Your move. Your move. It's time who's joining. I'm just finishing with the setup. I haven't done the streams for a while. It takes a little bit of time. But I have everything set up. I have all my prizes, the playmats, the sleeves that I got, the box that I got. Most likely we'll do an opening later on. And the trophy that I got, we'll also do an opening for that. So first of all, let me turn down the music. If you're here, let me know if you're here in chat. I have my deck with me. We'll do a full review. I'll go over all my matchups that I had. Spoiler alert, a few snake eyes I've met throughout the tournament, which is expected. As you can see the full top 8 of the decks that topped. Plant Link won. I played against Pride in the top 4. That's the matchup I lost. Unfortunately, in the first game I did the full loop and I was going 1-0. I thought I'm gonna get into the finals, but I mean, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! And stuff happens. Like, the outplay that he did was so crazy. Imagine this, he does the draw on me. I do cold buy on the draw, and what he does there is just crazy. He activates the trap card, the sprite card, this one, double cross, and he targets the draw, bringing it back to the field so that the cold buy does not resolve, and I still get drawn. We go into game 3, and anyways, I'll go over all of this. But I can either show you the deck list here, there's a link. If you want, I can give you the link in chat. You can go through the whole thing, but I will be doing a full review, like the whole deck list, why I'm picking every single card. We'll switch cams, I'll connect my phone, and like we'll do all of this in a bit. Just give me a few moments. If you have any questions, let me know in chat. Hello Nicholas, welcome to the stream. Let me just set up my phone so we can go and see what I have here on my table. Basically this is like, we'll go over this just in a moment. I just need to link my phone to the stream so we can use it as a camera, and we'll be ready to go. So just give me a few moments here. In the meantime, you can take a look at the list. I gave you a link in chat. Just a moment. Phone to stream. I'll set it up in the background. It was a long day. It was about 6 rounds, top 8. A lot of people came from abroad. Had a lot of hard matchups. I even had a game where I won by 100 life points in time because my opponent attacked me and he was hoping to finish me off with Fenrir, and I had a skill drain set, a second skill drain. Well, it was something. I will give a full review. I'll have everything written down. We'll go over this. Okay. What was it? This? Yep, this is the one. What's it called? Oh yeah, this one. Okay, I found it. It's been a while, let me remember how to do this. Just a moment. Okay, it's this. I haven't played Yu-Gi-Oh for like half a year. I've been playing. Been playing some One Piece, been on the European Championship there. Done pretty good. And then I found out that there's nationals happening in my local area. And I was like, why not bring Dark Worlds? I did top 8 in the regionals for Dark World before. Maybe some of you know me because of that. But right now with all the Snake Eyes, the meta is different. I need to learn stuff, and I learned for like a week just to know what the meta is like. And yeah, here's the cam, back cam. Start. Let me see. How should I place this? I think I should do it like this. Believe me, I'm in a rush to set things up. We'll start any second now. Okay, here's the playmat. We'll do it over the playmat. I'll place this like this, I think. Alright, I'll do it like this. Let me check the chat. Okay, we have 2 comments. Can see side, but did you have more level 8s go on second? Maybe Thunderbursts and trade-ins, break more boards. I personally am not a fan of Thunderbird. It's kind of a weak danger. I prefer to have Bigfoot, especially if people, like I had situations where people did dimensional fissure on me. I mean, I'd rather have a danger just to clear something like that, as in danger Bigfoot. Okay, I have something here is done. Alright, so let's copy the link and give you guys the view right here. And this should be it. Here we go. I just need to turn off the mic of this. All right. This should be fine, right? I'll go a bit higher. Okay, this should be fine, I guess. Let me see the edges here and here. Okay, sorry for the wait. Like I said, haven't done this in a while. Haven't even uploaded on this channel for like 6-7 months, something like that. So yeah, Neetoff asks, how many times did you go into time and burn for game? And if you did, was the Cowboy Coach King? At least 2 times. Let me check my review. I have it written down. It was at least 2 times. And one of the times was in a way that I was 1-1 against Kashtira. And basically the guy, it's a long story. There was a lot of stuff happening with that guy. Even the judge stood by us throughout the whole game. But anyways, what happened is I played a skill drain and he kind of started stalling because there was 2 or 3 minutes left, but because of all the arguing we had before, The judge gave us 3 more minutes and he kind of forgot about it. He was just doing random stuff and like asking me how many cards I have in my hand multiple times. And basically I went to my turn. I simply played the Grapha, swinged my Grapha into his Rise Heart, the 1500 one. So I was at 7k, he was at 6500. I had skill drain and I set another skill drain. And basically what he did, he played a 7 cost rank, and with the 7 cost rank he popped my skill drain. He brought back the Fenrir. He did not search with the Fenrir because there was like 60 seconds left for him to do stuff until I win. And he basically attacked with the Fenrir into my Grapha, saying effect to banish the Grapha so he could swing for 24 at my life and basically win. And I go like, nah man, I have another skill drain, and I flip the skill drain, going down to 6k, and right now he's at 6400, and his Fenrir is going at my Grapha to 24 into 3k, and basically he attacks and he gets 600 damage and I win by 100 life points in time. In the 5th round, I do remember I had to go and do the... No, it was the 5th round with Kashtira. In the 6th round, the last round, I was going 0-1 after the first game. The second game I won and we were 1-1. And basically I started doing stuff after he had finished his turn. I looked at the time, I realized that I don't have a lot of time to go for an OTK, even though I could have if I had more time. So at that position I looked at my extra deck and I remembered that I forgot to side in the Cowboy. But I did have the Coach King, and basically I started to swarm the field with 8 level 8s. And I had only 2, and I top deck Snatch Steel, and I took my own Lava Golem from him and used all 3 for a Coach King, and I was like, okay man, I win. And he goes, what if you don't draw a monster? And I use the effect and I draw a spell. He's like, you might not win this one. I use it again and I draw the Ceruli and do 800 damage and I win in time. But I think those are the only 2 like mentions when I was going into time. Oh no, in round 2 I went into time, that's why I had a draw. So 3 times in 6 rounds I went into time, and in the top 8 I didn't go into time. In the top 4 I also did not go into time. So only 3 rounds out of 6. Anywho, let's take a look at the deck. I'll just sort it out quickly just to go over the ratios. I haven't had the time to do that from yesterday. Came back home, slept, woke up, like not a lot of free time. So let me just go over this really fast. The deck list is already publicly shown. I'll just go into depth in regards of ratios and stuff like that, and why I picked certain cards over others. If you've been following my content before, you know that I'm kind of into Dark Worlds and I like to show people how to do stuff with this deck and how you can be better. Especially for people that never played this deck, they think it's mostly hand looping the opponent and just a brain dead deck. Even though it's not, what you're usually doing is maximizing your chances of reaching your final board or doing a hand loop. If you're going second, usually you're just breaking the board and going for an OTK on the same turn. Basically that's the whole gig of the deck. But people who don't know that, they usually can get triggered by the things you do, and that can be in your favor. Only the players that actually play this deck, they still stay cool, don't go into panic modes, because they know that you might break, you might not even complete the loop. Sometimes it happens, like sometimes you have to gamble with dangers. But in regards of how you sequence things, it may increase your chances of successfully doing that. So basically the jig is to know when to use each card and when not to use any other card or whatever. So let's go over the deck. We will start with the Dark World cards, just to explain the self-explanatory, which is 3 snow. That's the best like Dark World card in the deck. obviously it searches you anything. So same with RB. Some people run less than 3, which is, in my opinion, stupid. You always want to see this card when you start the game. That basically does a lot for you. Later on we have the Genta, which is the other card you want to see in combination with the RB. That's like your main bread and butter from what you want to start. So if you are able to find these two in your opening hand, you're pretty Gucci from that point on. So people not wanting to run 3 of the RB is just strange for me. Then we have 2 Graphas, which is going second, it's an amazing card. Going first, it's not. And I had situations where I had to discard this with the field spell just to have something else to draw. And I mean, it's not nice, but it happens sometimes. I ran only 1 Cerulli and 1 Sylva in the main deck. And the reason for that is because I have another Sylva in the side deck, and the reason I have it in the side deck is because I want to be consistent in regards of opening hands, in regards of how I sequence and how I go about with my combos. Like usually people search Sylva straight up with the RB. I personally don't do that. I search the Grapha so I can bounce the same RB with the Grapha and then search the Sylva. This way I simply minimize the deck and I get everything I need. I get 2 rank 8 monsters for me to do stuff on the board, for me to make Akashic Magician and so on. So I personally run 1 Sylva in the main just for that reason. What's RB? It's Rainbix, this guy. Rainbix Overking. In short, it's RB. So some people run 2 of these, which is stupid, but I run 3 always. And same with the Dark Corridor. If you've seen my other videos, I will always say that running 3 Dark Corridors in a deck that wants to hand loop is just bad. So, for the danger monsters, most of the time, like I said, people run like different ratios, and I can understand why. But if they would be playing this deck as much as I've been playing the deck, they would not do that. Simply because of that, we do not want to have more than 2 dangers of the same kind. And the reason I run Allure is just to get rid of the second one, just not to have doubles in hand. And some people run 3 Nessies, which is like bad. Nessie is a... Of course, Nessie searches is good, it's basically another Dark World, but on the board it's just a body for a Link Summon. It doesn't do Xyz, doesn't do any combo pieces like at all. So yeah, let's go with the dangers. 2 Chupacabras, it's a fiend, it can swarm the board, and like I said, I have 3 allures that I use mainly if I have 2 Chupacabras in hand, or if I already used one of the dangers effect, I just allure it away. And most of the time that's the reason for that. But 2 Chupacabras, 2 Mothman, it's a good card, but sometimes you don't really want to activate its effect. If you're going hard with the combo and they're not responding to you, giving them a card to draw can be very bad sometimes. You can let them draw a Droll and they will Droll you if you activate the Mothman second ability, and maybe they might get something else which will screw you over. So like I said, sometimes you don't really want to activate the effects. Choose more than enough. I've seen people run 3 of this because it's an amazing card. I know it's good, but like I said, sometimes you can shoot yourself in the foot by activating this effect. So choose more than enough. Same with Nessies, like I said, no more than 2 dangers. Usually in a Dark World deck you should be looking at ratios of 7 to 10 dangers. That's like the optimal way of going about it. And for that reason I would rather prefer having 2 offs instead of having 3 Nessies, because if one of them resolves, you have 2 of these in hand. What are you gonna do? If you're gonna activate it, there's a high chance it will get hit again, and even if it comes to the field, it's basically sometimes good as a 2800 like defense. If you have a Bagushka on the side, if they draw you, maybe it's good, but most of the time it's a level 7, you're not really gonna do any Xyz or whatever with it. It's mostly just an extra body for Saryuja to make and stuff like that. So 2 is more than enough. I ran 2 Bigfoots, and the reason for that is because I have a trade-in. Initially I thought I'm gonna use 2 trade-ins and less allures, but I switched up at the last minute. But for me, the reason I ran 2 is because First of all, you can use trade-in on it. If they have something on the board and they have shifted you or whatever, you can still trade in and use this, pop a card, draw 2 cards, basically giving you a +1, just stabilizing at least a little bit, controlling the board if they like did a shifter or whatever on you. So it's a good card. It's a level 8. You can use with Coach King, you can use with Zombie Stein. It can at least do something on the board if you compare it to Nessie, and it has 3000 attack, so that's also very nice. And like I said, why 2 is good is because we have Jackalope in case like the Jack goes to the grave, it gets discarded, and you need an extra level 8 on the board, since we already established on RB a Grapha, because that's usually what we do at first, just for the sequencing purposes. With Genta, just to minimize the deck, not to draw the fields, not to draw the other cards that we don't want to draw. We would rather search them so that when we use dangers, we draw proper cards that we actually need to extend the combo. So the Jackalope, if it gets discarded, it's good to sometimes summon a second Bigfoot. If you already have one in hand or whatever, you can summon the second one just to make a Coach King and so on. No, trade-in does not activate the Dark World's effects, but the dangers get activated from trade-in because they activate even with if they're discarded by cost. And they don't need to go to the grave to activate their effects, so if they have something that blocks your grave, like Dimensional Fissure, like a guy played against me in round 1, he placed a Dimensional Fissure, and trade-in with this would just pop it. I draw 2 cards and I can continue on without a Fissure on the field. Of course, he had like a quick spell that protects it, so I had to unicorn it and win. I did 2-0 against that, and he drolled me in the first game and I still won. So yeah, Danger Jackalope is very good. It's that one-off that we can play only one, and Sushinok is also one-off since it's limited. And like I said, the more different names you have, the better. You don't want to have multiple copies of the same one. If you would cut one of these, I would cut Chupacabra. It's good because it's a Fiend. That's another upside. You can use it for the field spell. But if you want to cut something from here, I would go in a ratio of first the Chupacabra, then maybe the Bigfoot would be cut if you want to run less dangers in your build. But these are the dangers. For the fire monsters, I ran 1 catalyzer, simply because when you're hand looping, there's one rule that you should always follow in this deck, is that there are targeted discards, as in you can choose what you can discard, and there are non-targeted discards like the dangers, like the card destruction, and so on, where you do not make a decision on what particular card you want to discard. So this is a card that lets you do that. On top of that, if they draw you, shifter you, or whatever, you can use this card to special summon itself and have another level 4 body to go Bagushka and just stall out the lock. And hopefully they don't have a what's it called, imperm. And if they don't have an imperm, you have another turn to play and do stuff. You will get a Fiend to the grave and you can start doing the stuff later on. So it's a very good card. It can also you can get it back from the board, like from the grave, if it's in the grave and you fight with like any Fiend, even if he attacks your Fiend monster, you can get it back. But mostly it's for the hand loop or to go about a draw or shifter if they have it. If they don't let you play, you can go about it with this by playing Bagushka on top and just passing and defending yourself. This is the thing I want to talk about the most. This is a card I really love. It's like my best card in the deck that I love. And the thing is, like, I tried running multiples, like 2, then 3s, and usually when I run 3, I draw like it too often. Like sometimes you go first and you draw 3 of this, and it's like, it's really bad. If you have trade-ins, okay, you can do something, but if they have an Ash Blossom, it's not that good. At the same time, I don't want to be in a gamble position where I'm just rolling a dice and the dice decides if I win or not. Because if I don't have this and I go second, it's a lot harder to break a board. With this, it's way easier to break a board. Like against the Kashtira player, he won the dice roll. I had to go second in the first game, and I drew 2 of these, and I just wiped the whole board that he had with 2 lava golems. And I OTK'd him in the same turn. It's as simple as that. So this card is very good, but when you're going first, of course, it's not that good, but it's a fiend. You can discard it for the field spell, and run one trade-in, so you can be able to unbrick yourself if you're going first. But the reason I love trade-in is because it's basically a pot of greed. If you didn't know why we do the RB to graph of first, is because later on we can always bounce the RB. Like the first search with this should be this. If you have like most of the time, this searches this the first time. And then once you discard this becomes a free resource in your hand. Like for a trade-in, for a Cerberus, like for Unicorn, you can always bounce it like that, one to the other. So this becomes basically a pot of greed for you, because if this is on the field and this is in the grave, you just bounce this, summon this, play this, discard this, and once again you have it back in the grave. And you draw 2 new cards. It's basically a pot of greed for this. Worst case, you use it for a Lava Golem going first, just not to have it as a brick. And just an amazing card. I was running 2, but I just don't want to get Ash Blossomed. Because if they Ash Blossom this, it really hurts. So usually when you have it, you don't play it first, you bait them with Gentas and everything else to see if they have an Ash Blossom. And if you feel safe, then you go for the trade-in, and then you can do that. Next, after the trade-in, we have card destruction. Like people say it's the best card in the deck. Sometimes I don't even want to activate it, to be honest. Like, if I'm going full-on combo and they're not stopping me, I will never use this card, unless I have to. Never. Because if you activate this, and they had a handful of bricks, and now they draw a handful of hand traps, and even if they, God forbid, draw Droll Lockbird, you're done. Like, you're done. So most of the time this card is like, I either use it as a first card to activate, just to, like, let's say they have 2 draws in hand, you just go straight up card destruction, they don't have any more draws after, like in game 2 or 3, whatever. But yeah, it's a good card, it does a lot of pluses to you, but it can hurt you a lot. Like your opponent can just get a bunch of new cards which will not let you play, and you will just pass your turn. So be always careful in regards of when you activate these cards. Sometimes, like I said, I just set it, and in case I don't have any other plays, then I use it. But like I said, it's a double-edged sword with this card, even though it gives you a lot of pluses. I also run 1 triple tactic talents, and this card has multiple ways of being abused. Like first of all, if you're doing a hand loop and they have no hand traps, usually from 5 cards only 1 is left, and this rips the last card. If they give you like a Droll and Lockbird or like a Shifter, you can instantly activate this. Look at their hand. Like I had a situation in round 2, the Sprite player gave me a Droll in game 2, and I was like, okay, I use triple tactic talents, show me your hand. And I look at his hand, he has 1 Sprite, and the other 3 cards are hand traps. I just simply put the Sprite back into his deck and pass. He goes into his turn, he has no place, he just sets an imperm and passes back to me, and I can continue doing my stuff even after he drolled me. So this card can be good when they shifter you, droll you. You just activate it, look at their hand. By doing that, you understand what they can do to you on the next turn, and based on that you can make your decisions if you need to go into like Bagushka or if you don't need to go into Bagushka. It's just an amazing card. At the same time, my main deck called By the Grave, and it helps a lot. Sometimes if you draw this from Allure or Card Destruction on your first like play of Card Destruction at the opening hand, that's usually what you want to do after game 1, because they will have Droll or Shifter or whatever. If they have Shifter, they'll just use it in the standby phase. But if they have Droll and you use Card Destruction and they get another Droll and you have this, it saves you. Even after 2 first draws, you get this, it saves you. It saved me a lot, honestly. Even in game 1, it saved me a lot. If this card was a 2 or 3, this deck would be so broken. but unfortunately it's only at 1, and that's why we have 1 of this, and I run it in the main deck because like I want to play, I don't want them to stop me with a draw or whatever. So with the Dark World cards I have 1 archive. Sometimes in game 2 I side it out, it's one of those cards that you can side out, and it basically does the same thing as Catalyzer. It lets you choose what you want to discard, and when you do the loop, the hand loop, you want to have cards which give you a choice on what you want to discard. So in regards of that, like, it's a good card. And with RB, with this, since this card is not mandatory, you can make it chain link 2 after this, the second effect of archives activates, making you search first and then discard and draw 2 cards. So if you know the sequencing with RB, it's good as well. We have only 1 fusion of a session. I've seen people run multiple ones, like 2 or whatever. I think that's too much. 1 is more than enough. You can search it, you can find it with snow. You can bring it back from the grave if you really need it. And it's also a targeted discard. One of those that you value and you keep until you get like Silva, Cerulli, and at least 1 or 2 of these. But if you're doing the sequencing well, you will have both of these, and then you can start doing the hand loop. Basically, you want to have these 2 set up in the grave, have Cerulli and Silva, and you will have Silva after this setup because you can find it anytime you want by bouncing this. And all you need to do is just find the Cerulli with the snow, with the danger, and then you can start hand looping. And then you just like maximize these cards, you try to keep them for as long as possible to have the choice to simply discard the Cerulli and not something else randomly. That's why we value every single card that has a targeted discard. I run 3 allures. I wanted to run less of this. Like sometimes I really don't like allure. Sometimes you activate allure or you have like 2 or 3 monsters in your hand and you have multiple allures, you kind of don't even want to get rid of those cards that you have in your hand, and you have these allures. So sometimes, like before the tournament, I want to play 1 of this and like use 3 lava golems and stuff. I had a different list, but in the end I put this in just for the consistency. But most of the time when I have it in hand, I usually set it, I don't even activate it. And I will activate it only then when I have like a danger that I don't want to have in my hand. Or if I used one of the dangerous effect, like if the Nessie was already hit and I don't want to keep the other Nessie in my hand, because if it gets hit I don't get any value. I'll just allure it away and get like 2 other cards which can give me a lot more. So that's the best way to use allure in this deck. Simply like put it aside until you have something in your hand that you don't want to have, and then allure it away. So that's how I would use the allure. I use only 2 dark corridors, and when I say only, I mean you should only play 2 and no more, maybe 1, maybe 2, but never 3 of this. And for those who don't agree with me, well, I don't want to be controversial, but have you ever played this deck? Like most of the time you will draw your whole deck, and most of the time once I use this I will draw this, and once I draw this it becomes just a dead card. And in this deck sometimes you're in a position where 1 card does a lot for you, and if you want to run 3 of the dark corridors, well, be my guest, sure, but let's see how consistently you can pull off your combos when stuff doesn't go your way, when one of your dangers gets hit and so on. So 1, 2, no more, that's it, don't argue. You will know if you've played this deck as long as I have. And the other thing that's controversial is the 3 Dark World gates of Dark World. Some people run only 2, which is, I mean, I'm not gonna boast on this as hard as I boast on the Dark Corridor, that's fine. You can play only 2, but for me, it's a card that lets you choose to discard, which means it's a card that lets you do the hand loop, which means you can discard a brick that's, let's say, even a lava golem and draw a new card, which means this is searchable with Genta. And usually when we have Genta, we will get at least 2 field spells with the same Genta by bouncing the same Genta into my hand. So usually, like, this is the full deck list, but just for you to understand what I'm saying, let's say we have this and we have the Genta. The usual thing you do, and it's like the basic starter, right? You use the Genta, find the field, then you use the field, banish this, discard this comes to the field. You search always this to have. This one is in the grave, this one is in the field. You bounce this to the hand, summon this. You use the same Genta again, and you find the other field. Let's say you run only 2 field spells and you drew one of this. You're not gonna be able to do that. And at the same time, once you draw another one, you have the lure to get rid of it. I mean, you always want to use this as soon as possible. Once you sit this in your hand and you still have targets for this, you always activate it first. Simply not to draw these cards. These cards are not meant to be drawn from the deck. These cards are meant to be searched with this. And yes, sometimes you can open a hand with 2 field spells and so on. But the upside is still better. Because at this point, with these 2 cards, just the Genta and the RB, you start the whole combo of this getting you this getting you this, then you bounce this card, get another field, and then you bounce, it was like this, and then you bounce this to summon this. After the second field, discards this. So at this point, you're all set up. This will be your field, your hand. You already drew 2 cards, and this is the grave that you have. So at this point, you can search the Silva, and after you search with this for the Silva, all you need to do is like get a Dark Corridor to find the Ceruli. The Ceruli will discard itself, and you hand loop, or just use a Snow as a searcher to find the. Basically, at this point, all you need is like your deck was, you drew 2 cards, you searched 2 cards, and you searched 2 more with the Genta. So 6 cards are gone from your deck. So let's say 35 cards were in your deck. There's only 29 cards left in your deck. The chances of you finding a card like this, a card like Ceruli, a Snow, or a Danger, which will continue because that's all we want to do. We want to find the whole combo piece and just do the combo. It just saves you a lot of cards that you would have drawn, which you will not, just by starting like this. This is like the main thing you need to do when you start any game, any combo, once you have these 2 in hand. So yeah, basically learning sequencing helps you a lot, not to draw like bricks and stuff. For the extra deck, we have the rank 4s. My sleeves were bigger than these, or I had them double sleeved. The judge told me not to have them double sleeved, so I just use them like this. So basically we have the Bagushka, the card that saves you when they draw you, when they shifter you, and so on. Not much to explain, just play it like that and chill for a turn. Dugaris, one of the targeted discards that we can have. Basically it lets you choose what you want to discard, and once it's done, like, you also get to draw 2 cards. Amazing card. Afterwards, for the other XCs, I have 2 more rank 8s. I have Zombiestein. First of all, it's a beat stick of 45k, like, it's a lot. But most of the time, like, this is a card you want to end your board on, because it can target any face-up card they activate it and just make it not work. So basically it stops any card they have. Once you've finished with the hand loop, if they still have that 1 card and they draw a second one, they have 2 cards. You want to have this, a Palooza, and a Fusion at the end, and you're just Gucci. There's no way they can outplay these 3 with those 2 cards. We have the Coach King. Basically lets you draw 3 cards, lets you win in the time. Like, if you go into time, this is a good card to have. For the Link summons, we have the Link to Muckracker. Also a card that lets you target it, like do a targeted discard, but it locks you into Fiends. And once you're locked into Fiends, of course, making a end board is hard, and after that it's kind of hard to even bounce the Ceruli. But you have this card, even if you have to go into this line to do the hand loop, don't forget that you have the Triple Tactics, and you can take their Ceruli that you gave them and bounce it with like Graph or RB. and bounce it like that. If you're forced to go into this, if you have no other ways to do that, you can still do like the Cerulean combo 2 times with these two. It's possible to do that, but once you're locked into Fiends, you kind of want to have an end board as well, which will be the Grapha Fusion. And in regards of links, you will go into Fiends such as this and this and this. That's why I run the Nightmare package, but also what I do with the Cerberus is once I'm done with the hand loop, I always do the same thing, as in I play the Cerberus underneath like an Akashic Magician or whatever I used previously, right here. Usually it's like the Akashic Magician. Where is it? There. Usually it's the Akashic Magician that you're gonna use to bounce the Cerulean, right? And just not to let them have a monster on the board, because if you're finishing on a Palooza, they might do that, what's it called? All of the Snake Eyes are running right now. The Link 1, the 1000 eyes that used to be like a ritual monster. What's it called? The Relinquished Anima. So you don't want to leave the Cerulean for them to do a Relinquished Anima. So I do a Cerberus, which lets me draw a card at the same time. So not only I get rid of the problem, but I also get to draw a new card with the Cerberus, and then I can use the second effect of Akashic Magician to search a top card, like try to predict what the top card will be and get like a new card. But and then use these two into Appaloosa, simply like that. This is the whole sequence you do with these. That's why you run these. But like I said, if you're locked into Fiends, you can go the Nightmare package and go finish on a Griffin. That's also a possibility. For the other link too, I use Security Dragon. It's another way to bounce stuff. And like, if you don't go into Cerberus, if you like pop the Cerulean with Grapha, let's say, and if you need to bounce the... Like, if you went not the Akashic route, if you don't have two Fiends, or two of the same type, and you had something else on the board prior to that, like a Macracker, and you didn't use its effect yet, this is another option you can have to bounce stuff. If they are co-linked, you can bounce. Basically another option to bounce stuff, because sometimes you kind of need it. It can even bounce a problem that they have on the board if you're going second. Just as a board breaker, it can do that as well. So it's just another option to have, and from this point on, like, I'm gonna be showing you another card that I use just for an option. I know that there's other cards that I could have used in the extra deck, but I want to be flexible. I want to be able to also play going second, not just rely on my like whole hand loop combo, because sometimes you lose the dice roll and you have to go second, and if you go second with this deck, you just break the whole board and you win. It's as simple as that. So for that simple reason, I also have Underworld Goddess, because they might have like a Psychic and Punisher or whatever that doesn't let them get targeted, removed, or whatever. And if you don't have a Lava Golem, this is another way to clear it, because you might not have drawn the Lava Golem in the opening hand or after drawing a lot of other cards. So that's the reason I run the Goddess. Also, it has a second effect when people special summon from grave. But like most of the time, I didn't even play it. It was just there for safekeepings. Another high rank link monster is Saryuja. Of course, we run the Saryuja. That's why different danger names are good, because after we have 4 of something, we can make this and be able to draw new cards, then Swarm with its effect. Also, like if you have a skill drain that you will set afterwards and you want a big bit stick, you play the big bodies behind it. They get the boost of the attack, and that boost of the attack becomes lingering effect. So basically, even if the Saryuja is gone or if the skill drain is up, the attack boost stays with them, so they become even bigger towers than that. And the last two are, of course, the Fusion Graphas, the best card in the deck. I mean, I had a situation in round 1 against Pearly. He had a Zeus on the board. He had the Pearly, the blue one that negates the effect. And I had only like the fusion spell in the grave, a graph in my hand, and the Silva in my hand, something like that, I think. So basically how it worked, that I was able not to only summon this, but also like outplay the whole board that he had, and once it get popped, I get to like get a card from his hand and summon another graph from that was removed, and there was a Fisher before, so my whole grave was removed, and it's just a very good card. It's just very good in this deck. Going to the side deck, first of all we have 3 skill drain, of course. I sometimes think about running only 2, because usually if you go throughout the whole hand loop, you will draw these 2, and 3 will be more than enough, sometimes even a brick. But in the meta that we have right now, like 10 pies and stuff like that, I consider running 3 just to be sure. And even like if I go second and they draw me or shifter me, I would rather have this on the board just to be safe and chill. And basically this card won me the Kashtira matchup. Like I said, I won by 100 life points. We'll go over that later on. For the one-offs that I switch out, this is a card that I switch in after the side decking is done, because people might use Bestials to stop this, and I'm fine if they stop this early, because if I don't hand loop, it's fine. At least I want to be able to like swarm the board, because if you've seen my other Master Duel like content, on Master Duel there is no Silva, so you don't hand loop. But what you can do with this deck is finish with a board of Palooza, Zombiestein, Dweller, IP Masquerina, Muckracker, and Zombiestein or Fusion monster, I don't remember. Basically a full board of monster negates that you can put up, so if they go into stop the Ceruli, it's 1 card out of their hand already, so it's fine. I can put a whole board of negates of like a Palooza. I can put the, like, not let them play at all, even if they like bestial the Ceruli. But if they bestial this, I cannot swarm, I cannot like start doing shenanigans with my rank 8 plays or link monsters through Graph and RB. So I put in a second one in case they like grow it or whatever, and it's searchable. So the RB, the Rain Books, or how do you pronounce this? Rain Books, Sovereign King of Darkworld, yeah, with that card. You can search it, so it's fine. I have a 3rd Lava Golem for when I'm going second. Like I said, I want to be a 50-50 in regards of the dice roll, that's why I have 2 in the main deck. I used to have 3 in the main deck, but right now it's switched up. So I decided to put 1 of these into the side deck just to keep the consistency going first, and also being able to do stuff going second without the side deck by having 2 Lava Golems in the main deck. But this is just in case I want to go second. If I will go second, I will put this in almost all the time. Another going second card is Snatch Steel. It helped me a lot. It like did a lot of work throughout the whole tournament. So it's a very good card. It even helped me burn my opponent by getting back the same Lava Golem I gave them. I just took the Lava Golem back, did a Coach King, and went for the damage and won. Then we have 2 Cosmic Cyclones. It's a good card. Sometimes I even consider using it against Snake Eye. If you're going first, like you can banish their spell, like monsters that are in the spell trap zone, and like in case there's runics and stuff, it's just a very good card to have on the side. It banishes and you just forget about the problem. Also another card for spell trap decks is Harpy Feather Duster. It's one of those cards you can use going second to break the boards if you see your opponent likes to set cards and stuff, or have like cards that interrupt your board by having them on the field in the spell zone or the field zone. This is a card you can put in going second. This is a card I used to go into time because sometimes you have to go into time. I personally am able to do the hand loop like in 10 minutes, unless it's really hard, like you don't get all the combo pieces, then it might be 12 minutes. But I mean, your opponent can also stall and stuff like that, so you kind of have to have this just in case you go into time. The other 3 cards I have is Trini Biru, and the reason I ran this is if you've seen at my Nationals, Plant Link won. And this is a good card against Plant Links, I know that guy. I mean, like, we had a lot of people from abroad, like from UK, from Germany, from Latvia. And I just notice that the top 3 people of them are from my locals, like me considered. And I just had a feeling that sooner or later I might face him, and for some reason I kind of had to play against him in the top 4. But for like content reasons, they wanted to film the Tenpai going against Plantling, which in my opinion, like, what do you think? Like Tenpai versus like Dark Worlds. Who wants to go first? Will Tenpai go first or second? What do you think? Like, what's the idea? What's their thought process? Because for them, it's like a lose-lose situation. I think that would be a lot more fun to watch. Anyways, yeah, so this card sometimes is really good depending on the matchup. So if you see that matchup that swarms a lot, does a lot, and they are afraid of Nibiru, you might consider this, but like the best decks and players still can outplay this. So it's just a situational card that I can have. Same with this. These two are also situational, because I don't know, maybe I might face a deck like Runic Stun, I don't know, stuff can happen. Like for that reason, if I see a slower deck that doesn't want to do a lot of stuff and kill me on the next turn, I might consider using this simply for me to be able to do a bit of control myself. So these are just optional. You can kind of switch these 5 out as much as you want. Like for Change of Heart, you can put that in, and those are one of the options you can do. So what we can do now is open the trophy. And I'm sorry for the rant, let me read the chat. I've been away doing the deck profile and explain stuff. Clock asks, what is the purpose of card destruction in format without Maxi? Card destruction activates all Dark World effects and dangers. Yep. Andy says, congrats. Thank you, Andy. I understand your point on the dangers. Personally, I like playing 3 Mothman, 3 Nicey, and a bunch of one-offs. I don't like a lot of Bigfoot, and I cut Coach King. Yeah, sure, but like I said, the reason I don't play more than 2 is because I don't want to like have a situation where I like lost one of them, as in they got triggered by them being discarded, and then the other 2 copies become dead, and if you don't have a lure to get rid of them, you're kind of screwed. So that's why I don't want to run more than 2 of any copies, and usually the ratios are 7 to 10 for like any danger deck. Like that's my opinion, at least. I tried busking and it felt incredible. Well, maybe. Says I cut Koshkin for busking as well. Yeah, I mean, sure, if it works for you. And no zombie vampire. Zombie vampire is an extender, sure, but like I said, I don't see the point of like milling cards for them. They might get cards that can trigger from the grave. I don't want to give them advantage. I want to give myself advantage. That's why card destruction gets set and not played and stuff like that. That's why sometimes Mothman should not get triggered, because it will help them and stuff like that. I mean, it's just micromanaging stuff just to make like a situation better for yourself. Yeah, Relinquish Time. Labyrinth Snake tier, very rare, gained advantage with zombie. Yep, just like I said, Andy did a good point. I like busking because it almost forces a scoop early on, because otherwise you see the extra deck and you can adjust yours. Yeah, I mean, sure, but my goal going first is just to hand loop. That's what I want to do. If they let me, they let me, and if they let me do it, I'm not gonna give them new cards for them not to let me do it. It's as simple as that. So I don't want to summon vampire. I don't want to do anything like that. All I want to do is do the Genta RB combo to find the Grapha. Grapha will find me will let me bounce the RB. The RB will find me the Sylvan, and then I just need to find the Cerulean and have a targeted discard. That's it. That's all I want to do. Goddess is the best card in Dark World extra deck, in my opinion. Who plays SP and doesn't play Goddess doesn't know the deck. Honestly, like I have just a cheap deck that I don't upgrade. Like Aspilial Knight might be a good card, but I just want a hand loop going first, and I go second. I just clear the board. That's it. I don't really need that card. Who plays this in hand? Okay, I prefer Bestials and okay. So let's take a look at this. I'm gonna move the mic a little bit further. Let's move this for it to be in the full screen. I'll adjust the camera a little bit. This should look a lot better, I guess. Let's open up the box like this, I guess. Move this to the side. Move this like this. Okay, let's move this a bit further. Move the playmat to the side. Sorry guys. Okay, something like this. So let's open it up. I still haven't seen it. It's still sealed, so I'm not sure how it looks. But somebody told me that this is the color that it should get. It should be dark, so it should be like Dark Worlds, I guess. So let's take a look inside. Okay, so a lot of soft stuff. This is nothing. Guess I don't need this. This is a trophy for all of us who play Dark World. This is a sign that you don't need to spend $500 or whatever on a top tier deck. And you can still be one of the best. Of course, I'm kind of sad that I didn't get the Switch or the Trip. And I kind of was going 1-0 in top 4. But yeah, at least this is a good memory. Come on, come on, come on. Unbox, unbox, unbox. I'm almost there. There it is. A lot of wrapping stuff. The freshness on this. I promise I'm not like the samurai guy. I don't sniff cards. Almost. There it is. Just need to take this off. Oh damn, the camera dropped. The suspense is too real. Sorry, I'll fix this for you guys. And here it is. World Championship qualifier semi-finalist. There we have it. We did it. We made it. A $60 deck did it. If you even compare like the prices for like the other decks. Where is it? Here. You can take a look at the price. Like Snake Eyes is like 681 bucks. Like U-Bell, which has a lot of expensive cards, is 500 something. Voiceless is 400 something. And the Dark World guy is like 60 bucks. Yeah, baby. And that 60 bucks got me this. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. This is here. The sleeves are here. The playmat is here. Everything's here. I'll put it like this. Also got a... Oh damn, almost dropped again. I need to hold the camera with something. Let me use cards. Cards have weight, right? Yep, like that. Sorry for all of that blurring stuff. Anywho, yeah, that was a big sweat. A lot of hard duels I had. I will go over all of these duels right now, give you like a bit of a review against whom I played and how things went. So let me put on like some background Yu-Gi-Oh music. which most likely is copyrighted, but I don't care. My channel is not monetized. I do this for fun. I do this for you guys so you could watch and learn, maybe get some new tips and tricks that you can use. But I personally am playing mostly One Piece right now. And I didn't play a Yu-Gi-Oh for like half a year at least. You can check out my One Piece channel if you play them, but anyways, yeah. I came back into Yu-Gi-Oh like a week ago. I came back to the locals. I played in my locals. I noticed nobody is maining Droll, and I won the second place in my locals, and I was like, okay, I should go to nationals now. And this is how it ended. So first of all, in round 1, I was playing against Pearly. In the first game, he drolled me. Let me get some water. This should be better. In the first game, he drolled me. So that wasn't nice, even though I was going first. But, like, since it's Pearly, I was able to play through the droll and win the first game. In the second game, he decided to go first. And then I saw the Dimensional Fissure that he played. And I'm like, yeah, that kind of sucks. And then, but I was like, maybe if I do trade in into Bigfoot, I can pop the Fissure, right? It's not that hard. But then he played the quick spell, which says, like, one card on the field cannot be destroyed once until the end of the next turn. And he picked the Fissure, and I'm like, damn, this is bad. Basically, how things went in the second game is that I did a card destruction, like, through the Dimensional Fissure. A bunch of stuff got banished, but the fusion spell did not get banished because Fissure only banishes monsters. And that's when I went into Unicorn, just bounced back the Fissure back into the deck. And there was the situation where he had the Pearly, the blue Pearly, that negates a face-up effect on the field. And he had the Zeus because previously he had a Noir that he summoned with the trap card of Pearly. So that happened, and basically at that point I had a Grapha, Silva in hand, and a fusion spell in the grave. And I managed to make a sequence in a way that I not only summoned Fusion Grapha, popped one card that he had, but basically I said I'm going into battle phase. He got baited, he activated one of the effects, then I activated the other one, then he activated the third one, and basically on how the chain link works, the Zeus popped the field, the Silva came to the field and got the chance to hand loop him for 2 cards. Then the fusion monster hand loop him for 1 more card. Then I got another Grapha. Then I bounced one of the Silvas into a second Grapha. I had 2 Graphas, and I'm still in the main phase because I was trying to go in the main phase and he got baited by activating an effect. And yeah, the first game was 2-0. I won against Pearly. In round 2, I played against Sprites, the Evil Twin version. That's the guy I played against in the top 4. Basically, in the game 1, like I said, I think in game 1, yeah, I started doing the hand loop, and he drolled me. But I have the triple tactic talents, and after resolving it, I looked at his hand, and there was only 1 Sprite Blue, and the other cards were hand traps. So I just put the Sprite Blue back into his deck, passed my turn. His turn, he sets Imperm and passes back to me, and I can play again without the droll being a nuisance, and I win the first one. The second one he wins, well, he's gone first, so he built a whole board like Evil Twin Sprites do. Even like Lava Golem was not enough to break the whole board. I mean, it happens. And in the third game we went into time, and basically I was in a position where I wasn't able to do the damage because he drolled me, so we simply shook hands. I know that guy for like half of my life, so we used to play Yu-Gi-Oh since 2009. So we just decided on a draw since because the time came in and I cannot make the damage to him. to make a coach king or to make a cowboy. I wasn't able to do that. And I tried. Like, if I tried the danger, if it would have resolved and I would get the danger on the board, then I would just make rank 4 cowboy and I would have won that game. But, I mean, yeah. Then I faced a dude which had snake eyes. And that dude went into top 8 later on. Like, he won the dice roll, he went full combo, like full combo with Princess in the grave, with the Link 4 in the grave, which revived themselves constantly. I was trying to break his board. I had a lot of gas to do that. It was going through, but like, he just had too much follow-up and stuff. And in game 2, like, just wasn't able to push through. He had a lot of hand traps. So that was the only loss I got throughout the rounds to Snake Eyes. But in the next round I faced another Snake Eye. And I won the dice roll and I went first. And when I went first I did a full hand loop. Like full on. All 5 cards are gone. And yeah, we went into the second game. He was doing all the combos. And he made a board. I just broke the board and won. So the second Snake Eye wasn't as hard as the first one. But the second guy, once he lost, he dropped out and never saw him again throughout the whole event. Like, he was just gone. And on the 5th round, I played against Kashtira. It was a guy from Germany. Like, I tried to be nice with him. Once I saw him, I said, hello, welcome, like, to blah, blah, blah. And things were going nice. He had his cards in German. So I was simply like asking what the cards do, because I cannot read German, even though I understand it a little bit. So yeah, he started to get angry and like blah, like he based on rules, and he was really strict about his rules. He was constantly using these words: rules, rules, rules. Basically, he was rule sharking me the whole match. And based on the rules, he should be having like any kind of translations with him if it's like in German. So basically how things went is he was very pissed because he made a whole board, he went full combo, and I just played 2 lava golems. It's just lava golem, that's it, his whole board is gone. And he was like, no words, just angry. And then I started to do the math, how I can finish him off, like using one danger or the other. Like I got the Bigfoot to play on the board. I was doing the math. And he was so angry that he just says, you've been thinking for 2 minutes. You should do something. And I'm like, okay, call the judge. The judge comes up and asks the judge, like, just to watch the duel, for us to have like a fair duel. And started comboing, and I finished him. On the second game, he won, and in the third game, like, the whole time he was so angry. He was like doing this stuff, shuffling the deck. I shuffled his deck, I gave it to him, he shuffled my deck, and gives it back to me. Like, based on the rules, I can do this, and you have to... And every single time he was doing it, you know? Basically, wasn't the nicest guy. I kind of wanted to punch him at some point, but I kept professional simply because, like, we're competing. I understand him in one way or another. He came from another country. He wants to win. I understand, but like, be at least friendly. Like, this is like, I don't know, weird. Anyways, in the third game, we got a time extension from the judge because of all the shenanigans that were happening. At some point, he started to do the combo, but I had a set skill drain. I activated the skill drain on his Arise Heart, so his level did not go up from 3 to 7. And that's when he looked at the time, saw 2 or 3 minutes, and started stalling, like asking me how many cards I have in my hand. I said 3 cards. I put my hand down for him to see, like, it's 3 cards, like this. And then he was thinking, looking at the grave, looked at the extra deck, once again asked how many cards. I say 3 cards. Then he tried to exceed with the level 7 and level 3. I say you cannot, it's under skill drain. He's like, okay, but how many cards do you have? He leans in, like, looks at the hand. I'm like, bruh, what are you doing? I just simply called the judge back, and ask him to stand by the side just to see that nobody's like trying to extend time and everything's fair. Because I'm at 7,000 life points right now after the skill drain. And after he played the Arise, he did not do anything for at least a minute or two. And been asking me like stuff constantly. So yeah, at that point he just passed his turn. And I start like doing super fast movements and like drawing cards, using combos, blah 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 blah. I have 2 minutes left, but we have an extension of 3 minutes, but still I'm trying to do things fast, blah blah blah. At the end I simply see that I don't have much like a lot of time. I just simply like play a graph on the board. I swing my graph into his Arise Heart, give him 1500 damage, and right now I'm at 7000 and he's at 6500. So I just set a card. Just a moment, I need to open the door. Somebody's calling, I'll be right back. Anywho, so yeah, I was at 7,000, he was at 6,500, and he had like one level 7 monster on the board. And I just passed, and he had like 2 minutes. So he used the Kashtira Birth to summon another card, linked it into a rank 7, the plane thing. He tributes the plane thing just to pop the skill drain, like tributes itself to pop the skill drain. And I'm like, okay. He summons a Fenrir and looks at the time, there's like 40 seconds left. He goes into the battle phase, attacks my Grapha with the Fenrir and says effect to banish the Grapha. And I say, okay, skill drain. And I flip the second skill drain that I had. I go down to 6,000, he's at 6,500, his Fenrir crashes into my Grapha and gets 600 damage, and I win by 100 life points. Epic stuff in round 5. He was also like trying to convince the judge that he had 900 life points more than me, but the judge watched the whole thing, so you cannot cheat like that. Anywho, round 6, I play against Dragon Lynx, and I lost the first game because like I tried to hand loop, I won the dice roll, everything was going well, but at some point something stopped me, like one of the hand traps, and I don't know, I was really tired by that point, honestly, and maybe I could have done one move or the other a little bit better. But the first game I lost, yeah, so he hand trapped me and I had no extensions. And the next turn he just OTK'd me, the Dragon Link stuff, you know how they work. The deck is kinda good in this meta, which is weird. Especially since it can banish the Snake Eyes IP. So, yeah. Anyways, in the second game, basically I win. How did the second game go? I think in the second game I went first and I hand looped him. Yeah, in the second game I did hand loop him. As you can see, I wrote down that part. And in the third game I go second. I break the board. And at that point I look at the time, I see I have like 30 seconds or something like that left. And if I had like 2 or 3 more minutes, I could build a wider board to simply OTK him. Because he had this spotter that I removed with the Lava Golem, then he revived the spotter with another card, and like I was able to go through the spotter a second time, but I just wasn't able to have enough damage to finish him off by attacking. So I went with the Coach King route. I had 2 level 8 monsters on the board. And I was able to like draw Snatch Steel from dangers and stuff like that. And I used the Snatch Steel to take back my own Lava Golem that I gave him before. I used the Lava Golem, Grapha and RB to make Coach King. I activated the Coach King, Looked at the top card, it was a spell card. Looked at the second one, and it was a monster, and I won. And I was able to go into the top 8. I was in the 7th, I think, by rank, by tiebreaker. It was 4-1-1 after 6 rounds of Swiss. And most of the games I either won 2-0 or like one game I lost 2-0. And one game was a draw. So most of the time it was like, in the first round it was 2-0. And the 4th round was 2-0. And then with the Kashtira guy it was time. With the Dragon Link it was time. Second round was time and a draw. And third round I lost to Snake Eye. He went full combo. It was crazy. Like I tried to break the board, but against the second Snake Eye I did break the board and win. So going into the top 8, I go against Ubel. I win the dice roll. I go full combo. He's like looking at me and saying, "How can a Dark World be here?" And I'm like, I'm kind of specialist. Not gonna brag, but yeah, I kind of play a lot of Dark World. And I do the hand, and he's like, "Okay, show me what you got." And I go full on hand loop on him in the first game. It took me like 8 minutes to do the whole thing. We go into the game 2, and I look at him, and he is like pale. He's like, I drew such a brick hand, just set 3 cards, and I can see from his face that he just gives up, because that's it. He had a Solemn Judgment set, and like I activated a field spell, and he Solemn Judgmented. I guess he had no more other ways to do stuff, and he thought I will not have like something to summon and just attack him for 4k, which I did, just attack him for 4k, and I won. He showed me his hand, he had 1-for-1, and he said if only I could draw one monster, even a Dimensional Shifter that he sided in. He said he would not even use the Shifter, he would just use it for 1-for-1, the spell card 1-for-1. So yeah, going into the top 4, I win the dice roll, I go first, and I do the full hand loop, like full on, no interruptions, I just go crazy. I was able to do the hand loop. We go into game 2. At this point I'm in the top 4. I won the first game. I'm like, okay, things are looking good. I'm gonna go into the finals. And yeah, we go into game 2. And that's when stuff goes bad. Basically he uses a Droll on me, Droll and Lockbird, but I have a Cold Buy. And I called by his Droll, and I'm like, okay, this is mine. I win. This is it. And you know what he does? He plays the trap card, what's it called? The Sprite trap card that can summon or take a card, the double cross out. And he targets the Droll. And I'm like, what? No way. And since in the way the chain link resolves, like chain link was Droll, chain link 2 was Called By, and chain link 3 is double cross, and the double cross brings back the Droll, and Called By cannot resolve, it's no longer in the grave. And yeah, I was impressed. I know the guy for a long time, but that was impressive. So basically, yeah, I was forced to go into game 3 because the next turn he just OTK'd me with Gamma Burst. Not much I could have done there. In game 3, I start like, I go first, I start, and from the first draw I do, he goes Droll and Lockbird. And I'm just, really, bruh. And at this point I'm contemplating, should I go into Bagushka and waste my whole hand? Or maybe I should just pass. But in the back of my hand, last time I passed on a Droll, he OTK'd me. So I was thinking maybe I should just go into Bagushka, chill for 1 or 2 turns and try to recover from this. I went into Bagushka with Nessie in defense on the board. And he set 1 card and finished his turn. I was like, okay, this is not bad. But the reason he did this is because I had Ceruli on his side. Because when I did the danger combat to make Bagushka, it was just discarded. It just had to happen. So if not for the Bagushka, he would have just impermed the... If not for the Ceruli, I'm sorry, on his board, he would have just impermed the Bagushka and just went crazy on me. But because the Ceruli was there, I was able to get one more turn. So on the next turn I draw a Chupacabra. And I'm like, not much I can do here. I guess I'll pass one more turn and chill for another turn. Because I had a field spell which I flipped and he just Ghost Ogred it. So I have a set allure. Let's see what happens. I go to the next turn, he goes Imperm. He kind of clears my board, builds a board of the Sprite Xyz monsters, the Gigantics. And one of the Gigantics is made from an SP Little Knight, so it's a 3200, which can go over my Nessie. And I'm like, okay, this is getting bad. I was in a position where I thought I'm gonna go to the finals. You know how things are when you think you won, but you didn't. And basically, by the end of things, I had 2 Chupacabras in my hand. I had 2 Gigantics on the board and 2 Sprite Negators. The one that negates the spells and the one that negates the monsters. The red and what's the other one's called? Red and Carrot. Yeah, the red and Carrot on board on his side. And basically that's how he went into the finals, and he lost in the finals. But afterwards we both went and celebrated, and it's all good. It's all Gucci. But I was kind of expecting to go into the finals, honestly. Anyways, that's the whole review of who I faced, how things went, and how many hand loops I did throughout the day, how many drolls I got. In some cases I got drolled and I still won, but in some cases I did not, like in the top 4. Like, honestly, if I count how many times I got drolled, it's at least 5 times throughout the whole tournament, at least. And I got shifted at least 3 times. And 1 time Dimensional Fishered, but only 1 time the guy used Dimensional Fisher. So overall, like, I would say it's pretty good going against these hand traps. So if you want to stick around, I'm gonna open the box. We'll see what we pull. I'm gonna take a short break just to drink and take a toilet break. If you're gonna be here in about 5 minutes, we'll open the box and see what we got as prizes. If you weren't here during the stream won't be public, just so you know. And I'm just gonna cut out the part where I do the deck profile. That's why I didn't answer anything. I'm sorry, guys. I was doing it to save time and give other people like the chance to watch it and learn it, even if they weren't able to come to the stream. So if you want to stay, you can stay. I'll be back in about 5 minutes and we'll open the box. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. If somebody is still here, we will do the opening right now. Let's do it here. Yeah. We'll go a bit closer. Zoom in like this. Keep this for good luck. And put like this. Keep it on the side. Okay. I hope we can pull something. I don't know. I don't even know if there are good cards in this set. Haven't really been playing for a while, so I have no idea what's up. But let's go and open the box. Hopefully we'll get something cool. The Konami seal has been broken. Come on, up. There we go. So I'll start with the left side. I like to open boxes from the left side first. Let's keep it here. And start with the first pack. I'll be showing cards like this. High quality opening with focus and stuff. So for 4 cards, at least I remember that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and it's a super rare. No idea if it's playable, but honestly, like, I don't expect like commons and rares to be expensive, and I'm just gonna make things faster for all of us. Just gonna do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put this aside. These are all commons. To the side. Then gonna open another one. No suspense here. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the hit. All commons. Technically I could build a 10-pie deck like this. So let's put the 10-pie stuff aside. Everything else is not playable. After we have 3, we will look at the hits. 4. This is the hit. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is playable. Okay. 3 cards. Ooh. A secret and 2 supers. Is this worth anything? Does anyone know? Ragnarika Bloom. Two, 3, 4. Hop. Wake Up Century Ion. We have another 10-pie, 10-pie. Two, 3, 4. Super. 3, 4. Super. One, two, three, 4, and another super. If I can get at least 50 euros worth of cards, I'm fine. And super. And a secret Centurion Auxilla. I think it's a secret, right? Yep. So far the secrets are kind of bad. But there can be a 10-5 super rare which is worth something. It's not this one. And not this one. Not this one. It feels like in Yu-Gi-Oh! Most of the cards are just unplayable and they're just there. Oh, there it is, Padra. Already have 2 Padras. As far as I'm aware, there's like, oh, this is nice, this is playable. As far as I'm aware, there's like 2 secrets and 4 ultras in the deck, in the pack, in the box. Super. Oh no, I already got this from my participation. I know it's worth like 20 cents. Pendulum Witch. And Pirate Knight. So far it's trash. Okay, I have 4 boosters left. So far we have secret, ultra secret. There's one more ultra somewhere inside of these 4. The supers are like, not sure if they're playable. Okay. So one of these is an ultra. I feel like this one is the ultra, so I'll open this one first. I think now I'll just open this. And nope. So this is the ultra. There should be 4 ultras, right? And 2 secrets. So this is, oh my god, gadget trio, really? Yeah. Anyways, this will be all for the stream. Nobody's here anymore because not nobody's doing Dark World stuff. But yeah, these are the pulls for those that skip to the end of the stream. I might keep it for now, I don't know. But I got a gadget trio, Ragna something bloom, wake up something century, Centurion whatever, silent Mr. 20 cents ultra rare. This is and these 2 are like the most playable that you can pull, well, from my box. Anywho, thank you for joining and have a good day. Peace out.